In Return of the Obra Dinn, a missing ship has reappeared at a British port in Falmouth, with no crew or any trace of what happened. You are charged with the task of uncovering the fates of all 60 members that were aboard. Worry not though, the scale of the task is made much more tame through the possession of a mysterious pocket watch that lets you go back in time to capture dioramas of death. Here's the first body you come across. He's seen better days. We go back to see him get shot by the captain of the ship. A few moments later, we witness the captain shoot himself, and a few moments on from that, we uncover the fate of his wife, crushed by the ship's rigging in a storm. You also learn that the man that got shot by the captain was the first mate of the ship.
Abigail, your brother, my friend, I shot him dead.
So, captain shot with a gun, wife of captain crushed by rigging, first mate shot by captain. That's 3 fates. The game makes you solve them in triplets to stop you from just guessing everything. Let's pencil them in our little book and see what happens next. So if you've played Return of the Obra Dinn, you know that this is basically the video game equivalent of Black Tar Heroin. This feels so immensely satisfying. It's so good. This always happens whenever you solve 3 fates, and yet it never gets old. You know that every time this chime plays, you are one step closer to completing your Herculean task. What makes this so special? How has Obra Dinn used its music to elevate a moment of simple box checking to a moment that I'm still thinking about long after I left the ship behind? At its core, Return of the Obra Dinn is a detective game. It's about solving the mystery of what happened on that ship, and it isn't easy. Thinking outside the box is a requirement. You'll have to make some tough but manageable leaps in logic at times. It's a well-paced slow burn too. Some fates you'll solve in rapid fire, others you'll chase around the ship for hours on end. Return of the Obra Dinn already has you invested from minute 0. The atmosphere is excellent, the presentation is compelling, and well, who doesn't love a good mystery? You are going to care about finding out what happened to these people. You'll want to find out what happened. The game's primary motivation is to make you feel smart. It's about you and your ability to untangle the fates of the 60 forgotten souls that roam the ship. If you manage to do it, then it's you that's done it, no one else. You were able to use facts and logic to solve the mystery. So it's only because the player is invested in solving these fates that this chime can work, alongside the anticipation that leads up to it. As mentioned before, some fates that need solving are short-term endeavours. These are fates where it's pretty easy to figure out who they are and what killed them. The anticipation here lies in actually turning the pages of the book to enter in the fate that you know is going to be correct. You can see the reward that lurks in front of you. It's explicit and empowering. But what about the more obscure challenges that the game offers? Well, it's the complete opposite. These ones are filled with uncertainty and dread. It's a laborious process as you navigate scraps upon scraps of evidence to nail down just exactly who this person might be and where in the chronicle they meet their doom. The anticipation here lies in that final realization where everything suddenly falls into place and you start the slow, heavy march through the book's pages to see if you're correct. So we've covered the anticipation that leads up to the playing of the chime, but what about the chime itself? Let's have another listen. Now, I want to take a deep dive into how the music is done in this sequence, but while we're here, we might as well take a look at some of the interesting non-music things Obra does with its chime. The first point of significance is how it praises the player. The words "well done" flash up on the screen. I know games are big fans about telling you how clever you are, but it's a little different in this case. It doesn't feel patronizing. The game has a very neutral tone in its narration. For a game that does its best to immerse you in the world and the life of the Obra Dinn, the narration talks directly to you, the player, and specifically guides you on how to play the game. But due to the short, snappy nature of the narration as well as the consistency of the tone, I don't think it takes you out of the experience. This "well done" is sincere, and the player takes it as such. We also have the confirmation of the 3 fates. We see them change from scribbled handwriting to printed text. You've done it. You don't have to worry about who these people are anymore, or what kind of end they meet. These fates are now set in stone. This is for gameplay purposes, as you can technically just enter however many fates you want, and you might not be sure about exactly which ones you solved, but on another level, the game is repeating back what you've done as a sort of acknowledgement, a moment of catharsis. Finally, we see each fate added to the tally on the last page of the book. This is about seeing how far you've come and how far you have left to go. The game is letting you know that you are one step closer to solving the mystery of what happened on that ship. It's a direct view of your progress. All of this is impressive on its own, but what I really want to talk about is how Return of the Obra Dinn uses its music in this section, because I think the music here is special. It's timed specifically to the various beats of what is happening, but it also goes a bit deeper than that. This is something that is truly significant and something that, with a few exceptions, not a lot of video games do. It uses music as an integral part of the experience, rather than as a complement to it. The tune itself is simple, so simple that you could probably learn how to play it in about 10 minutes. Okay, here we go. Okay, don't worry, this isn't just me flexing and demonstrating my strange hand posture when playing the piano that I've only just realized, because I want to talk in a bit more technical detail about what's going on here. My knowledge of music theory is fairly limited, so hopefully everyone will be able to follow along. We start our journey on F major, and it's a strong start. As the screen cuts to black, this is your success chime that sends the signals to your brain that, yeah, well done, you've done a good thing. It's a major chord, so it's happy, right? That's what I was told in school. Major chords are happy, minor chords are sad. It provides instant relief. We then have the start of a chord progression as the game tells you what a good job you've done and also focuses on the 3 fates. Each person is given their own chord. There's a melancholy feeling in this progression, and for good reason. Okay, so this progression, if we wanted to make this sound like a sort of natural progression, we'd end it on a lovely C major, like this. But no, this is a gruesome game that is ultimately dealing with the subject matter of people's deaths, so we end it slightly worried with a D minor, a sad chord. Also, it might be an inverted chord, and that might mean something. Sorry if I'm getting any of this wrong, by the way, music nerds. I don't know that much about music theory. Finally, there's the tally of the fates. While there's definitely a melody here, it's still rooted in chords. This time, the progression is literally ascending. It's going up the note staff. It reinforces the idea that with every fate you are one step closer, each chord getting higher. Save for the last one. We end on a G minor, a sad chord. Again, it tells you that despite all of the progress you are making, you still very likely have a long way to go. You can only celebrate your success for so long. Time to get back to work. It's with this call to action that the sequence ends and our inspector goes back to solving the remaining fates. It has a just one more turn energy to it that compels you to keep going. Your job isn't over yet. You must find out what happened. And yeah, that's it. About 25 seconds of gameplay in total, and yet there's so much going on here, so much care and attention to detail in such a compact space. But it's worth it, because this seemingly innocuous sequence has a purpose. What is that purpose? Well, basically, we're all just dogs. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, dogs. Your viewer, your specifically assigned dog is a golden retriever. You probably know about Pavlov's experiment, where he rang a bell shortly before giving food to dogs. He found that after a while he could just ring the bell and the dogs would get all excited without needing to give them any food. It's the same here in my opinion. We're all just dogs being given food. We associate the sound of the chime with the rewards of getting closer to solving the mystery. Even just hearing the music on its own while writing this was enough to set my brain off. This happens in a lot of video games. The LA Noire chime when you get a question right springs to mind. Also, you have sound effects without the use of music, such as the riposte sound in Dark Souls. This is the first time I've mentioned Dark Souls on this channel, by the way. 7 videos, it's very easy, anyone can do it, okay? You don't have to talk about that. These sounds are specifically engineered to produce the good chemicals in the brain whenever the thing happens, because it's always associated with success. It's Pavlov's bell. Associate success with a specific chime, and then repeatedly use that chime to make the player feel good. This is really cool, and I think we should be doing this more. It's not like you could take these kinds of things out of games and it would be incomplete, but putting chimes in your games and using music to its fullest potential truly makes it ascend from good to phenomenal. There's a lot to talk about with Return of the Obra Dinn, from its direction to the way it layers its narrative to the genuinely excellent logical deductions you have to make. But for me, I really enjoyed the way it used music to add that little bit extra to solving the mystery that's hidden deep within the creaks and moans of the ship. Hello again. Thank you very much for watching this. By the way, hopefully you can notice, I'm recording in a cupboard right now. And I want to tell you something that they don't tell you when you record in a cupboard. It's really hot. I'm boiling. I feel like I'm going to die. So I'm going to do this very quickly. So yeah, thank you very much for watching the other videos. If you want to know when there are going to be more videos, then you can subscribe. That's right, I'm doing YouTuber things now. You can also go to videogamesabout.co.uk. There are words there that you can read, including words on Return of the Obra Dinn as a whole. If you want more thoughts about Return of the Obra Dinn from me that aren't about 25 seconds of gameplay and the whole thing, you can go there and read it. It's like a few paragraphs, just takes about 5 minutes really. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I'm off. I need to get out of this cupboard, otherwise I actually might die. So, see you guys later.